In the dark forests of the north, where our ancestors, the Suebi, and other proud tribes of Germania fought against the tides of foreign invaders, it was as if the question was etched into the trunk of a great tree. What happens when we die? Death was not seen as an ultimate end, but as a continuation of the eternal cycle. We, the ancient Germanic peoples, are a proud and noble race who seek to understand the unseen and the forces that govern this world. In this world, death is but a moment, a transition from the known to the unknown. But what is it that lies beyond this veil? This question has long occupied the minds of our wise men and women, and I, a humble student of our traditions, will seek to offer what wisdom I have come to know. The ancient Germanic tribes, unlike the later Norse culture which came to dominate the legends we hear today, did not have a singular, cohesive vision of the afterlife. Rather, there were many ways in which the dead were honored, and their souls were believed to travel to various realms. Among the Suebi, the belief in death was bound up with the natural world, the spirits of the earth, and the forces that shaped it. There were no grand halls like Valhalla, nor a single goddess presiding over the dead. Instead, we saw the spirit as something that moved across a vast network of natural and supernatural worlds, each holding its own significance and destiny. The question then arises, where do the souls of the dead go? Do they simply dissolve, or do they journey into a new realm? There were several ideas among the Germanic tribes, but all shared a common theme. The dead did not simply vanish. They were believed to continue their existence, either in a form akin to their life on Earth or as a spirit that lived on in a different way. The first place a soul might journey is not to a realm of gods or demons, but rather to a land that mirrored the life they left behind, the land of the ancestors. This was a world of spirits, a reflection of the world they knew in life, but unbound by the constraints of the physical world. Here, the dead would walk among their ancestors, joining the spirits of the warriors, farmers, and leaders who came before them. It was a place where one could find peace, often associated with the worship of family and clan deities. The spirits of the dead remained close to their living relatives, and were often honored with offerings and rituals to ensure their favor. For those who died in battle or performed great deeds, there may have been another path, the halls of the gods. While this was not as formalized in the ancient Germanic tribes as it would later become among the Norse, there is evidence to suggest that warriors believed their valor would guide them to a form of afterlife among the gods, much like the Norse Valhalla. The Germans, especially among the Suebi, may have believed that dying in battle could elevate a warrior to a position of honor among the divine. They were seen as chosen by the gods, warriors who had earned a place in a divine hall where they could partake in eternal feasts or engage in battles in the presence of higher powers. Was this a form of immortality, one that came only to those who lived with honor and strength? However, not all souls would ascend to the heavens or remain in a peaceful land. The ancient Germanic tribes also believed in a shadowy underworld, a place of spirits that had not lived nobly or had died dishonorably. This underworld, while less explicitly defined than in other cultures, was a realm where wandering souls might find themselves trapped, not in torment, but in an eternal state of limbo. The shades, often called the skeadu in Old Germanic tongues, were believed to be these lost spirits, neither fully dead nor fully alive, roaming the earth. These souls were sometimes thought to be restless, capable of influencing the living, but also vulnerable to the forces of nature and time. What happens to the soul that lingers in the shadows of life, never finding rest? Unlike the later Viking world dominated by Odin, Thor, and Freya, the early Germanic tribes like the Suebi had a more direct connection with the spirits of the land. Woden, Odin, though revered as a great god, was not always seen as a ruler of the dead in the way he would be in later Norse thought. Instead, the dead were thought to interact with a multitude of spirits, including local gods, nature spirits, and ancestral figures. It was believed that the Vetir, spirits of the land, played an important role in guiding the souls of the dead. In a sense, the boundary between the living and the dead was permeable, with spirits of ancestors, nature, and gods constantly influencing the course of life. Our ancestors, the Suebi and the other Germanic tribes, believed that the way one was buried directly influenced the fate of the soul. Rituals were paramount. The barrow or tumulus, burial mound, played a critical role. This was the sacred ground where the body was returned to the earth and the soul was thought to be connected to the land of their people. Burial goods, tools, weapons, and sometimes even animals were often interred with the body to ensure that the deceased had what they needed in the afterlife. Such practices reflected the idea that death was a journey that required preparation, much like a voyage across dangerous waters. Do you not think that this view of death as a journey, requiring provision and care, speaks to the deep connection between the dead and the living? The sacred fire was also a part of many rituals, as it was believed to help guide the soul. Some tribes practiced cremation, burning the body to free the soul, while others believed that fire itself was a divine force capable of ensuring a safe passage into the next realm. So, when we ponder the fate of the soul in the eyes of the ancient Germanic tribes, we must understand that it was not a one-dimensional belief. It was a complex relationship between the living, the dead, and the divine. Death was viewed as a continuation of life, as part of a cycle that involved honor, ancestry, and nature. The journey of the soul was not determined by a single god or a singular vision, but by the collective influence of gods, spirits, and the very land itself. In the end, death in the eyes of the Germanic tribes like the Suebi was not to be feared, but respected as part of the ongoing cycle of life, spirit, and nature. So I ask you, when your time comes, where do you think your soul will wander? Will it remain with the ancestors, finding peace in the land of spirits? Or will you be swept away into the shadowy underworld, forever wandering, lost and seeking?